Welcome to Strata. I'm Glenn.
And I'm Brandon. Welcome to the Minds on Muscle podcast.
Fitness Pro Mentors, we are live. Welcome to another delicious, nutritious-ish edition. Wow, say that 10 times fast. Of the Minds on Muscle podcast. I've been looking forward to this one for a while. Today, we're talking about our student wins. I love our students. It's like the program only attracts awesome people. I don't know what it is. But we get to talk today about some of our students and how amazing they've been progressing. I'm very excited about it because I get to talk about Daryl, who's an absolute gem of a human being as far as I'm concerned. Daryl, when you watch this, I want you to know it's coming from here. Brandon, how are you thinking about the podcast today and how are you feeling?
I'm really excited about it. Honestly, the Fitness Pro mentorship has been going really, really well. Our students are crushing their marketing content, their lead gen systems. They are getting new communication strategies that they can use within their marketing to help them get clients, integrate them into their sales process, and then keep them for a long period of time. So I'm really excited about it because the opportunity for people to grow from learning simple marketing systems, learn new skills, it's really showing. And we have so many students that are doing amazing things. We've got today 3 particular students who are doing really, really awesome stuff that have all given us permission to talk about them so we can let you know what we're doing. Because this group is really committed to one thing. We want to help you grow the business that you want and crush your goals. So if you can learn more about all the things to make it rain, the marketing, the lead gen systems, leading into a sales process, you can really, really grow an amazing business. So I'm really excited about it, Glenn, really.
Me too. And I think something that we might see consistently across the board here is that a lot of people come into the program without a system, or they have a system, but they don't know what their system is all about. They haven't thought about it. They haven't seen all the individual pieces that make up that system and how it flows together. And I think that's probably one of the big reasons why a lot of the people in our program have seen the success that they have now is that they're actually starting to see their system as a whole, identify all the pieces that make that system up, and are now able to take different actions and do things a little bit differently so that we're seeing them bump up their numbers across the board.
So the way that we do this is we have this thing called the FIST formula, and it's super cheesy, I know, but ultimately this FIST formula is our simplified step-by-step business plan guide. And if you have a piece of the FIST formula for active prospecting, active in-house, expert status, money later, you understand the passive influences, you know your sales process, your assessment, how you're educating your clients, how you're keeping them in your world, everything in between, you can absolutely crush it. But ultimately, you have to realize, using more common business language, that people find you somehow, they get intaked into your world, and then they stay in your world somehow. And so that's what this whole thing about is how do they find you, integrate, stay, and then what amazing, cool training things do we do? And so integration, I mean, we talked about amazing books that make huge influence on these people, and a lot of people from the integration stage, we highly recommend the Muscle System Specialist program from a sales side of things, from an assessment side of things, from the report of findings side of things, really amazing programs. And then the training side of things, we highly recommend the Resistance Training Specialist program. There's an amazing amount of exercise information that you can learn, which we both really, really endorse. Tom Purvis and amazing instructors. In fact, one of these students is an RTS instructor. What? But if you have programs like this, if you can create the marketing infrastructure and the step-by-step plan to actually have organic, high-quality leads find you, the growth strategies become endless and you have an amazing opportunity to scale. And so one thing we're also going to be talking a little bit about is the Fitness Pro Leaders Program, which is our step up studio owner program. Once you go through the mentorship, if you want to keep going and talking about how you can scale and hire staff and understand that growing your model, your business, your training studio is actually 2 different models. You got this model of working with your client demographic and the client avatar, and then you have your trainer avatar, which is a whole other conversation, but big stuff. Glenn, what do you think, man?
I'm into it. Let's get rolling.
So first things first, we're going to pop up a student that Glenn is actually mentoring right here. Mr. Daryl, fantastic, amazing guy from the UK that we're really excited about. So Glenn, tell us a little bit about Daryl. What kind of things you seeing with him?
Where to start with Daryl? And I say that because I think Daryl's such an amazing human being. So Daryl's been in the fitness industry and exercise industry, I think, for almost 20 years now. And like a lot of us, has gone through several different phases. I mean, I think if you've been in the industry long enough, you get in for one reason, you start one reason, for one reason, and then you pivot. And you pivot a whole bunch until you find yourself where you want to be in what feels like a home for your business, right? Like this place that feels comfortable. This is what you want to do. This is what you want to execute on. And I think Daryl has just found his place right before getting to the Fitness Pro Mentors program. He really found it. Hey, like this is where I want to be. This is the direction I want to go. And now was in a place of, well, okay, well, how do I grow this? Like, how do I get these people that I want to work with that match my skill set into my world? And how do I articulate this next part here? I think for Daryl, the thing that made him really move to getting those 3 clients a week on a nice, consistent basis was really honing out and understanding his system as a whole, but then understanding all little pieces of the finding strategy that have a large impact on his business. So I think a lot of people, as a general broad outlook, a lot of people don't realize all the different ways that somebody could enter into their system. And I think for a lot of people, they're just used to referrals. In fact, a lot of people that come to Fitness Pro Mentors is all referral based. Referral. All my business is going for referrals, which is great when the referral tap is open and it's running, but sometimes the referral tap isn't always there. Right? I mean, you have to look at other different ways to open up and find different people to enter into your system. And so that's actually one of the things that Daryl and I worked on to begin with was all the different ways that people could get into your system. And just to name a few, I mean, outside of referrals, you can resurrect old clients. You can find clients on social media, on Instagram and Facebook. You can go out in person and talk to them. So Daryl and I worked on initially, hey, how are you getting clients into your world right now? And what areas do you feel like you could be expanding your business into? And the funny thing is, if you don't know what you don't know it, right? I mean, it sounds so redundant and almost wordy, but I mean, that's the reality of the situation. That's why people invest in Fitness Pro Mentors to begin with, is because they recognize their stuff in the blind spot. There's so much information out there, which is the beauty of YouTube, but what's going to make the most sense for me? How do I optimize it and utilize? And that's really what Daryl and I worked on, was implementing more of these finding strategies.
Yeah, honestly, there are 3 big things you need to have for every business. You need referral systems, growth systems, and retention systems. If you've got these 3 things, referral, growth, retention, you're going to crush it. So openly, referrals from clients that know you, love you, they are going to be your highest quality leads. They have vetted your pricing, what you do. They look at their friend and they go, oh my gosh, look, you're doing so great. You look great. You feel great. This person's obviously working for you. And so they're great. But at the same time, for someone like Daryl, one thing that we saw a couple things, right? Glenn just alluded he needed to kind of like figure out the things he didn't know so we could dial those things in. From there, one thing that I spoke to Daryl about when we did the initial conversation was that he really struggled by being in too many places, which a lot of trainers I see who are trying to grow and scale struggle with. They're in this studio for 2 days a week. They're in this studio for 2 days a week, and then they're doing some online nomadic on their own stuff all over the place. And so what gets really tough is when you're trying to carve out this kind of like consultant style niche, you need to be a fixture. You need to be in a place where people are coming to you. Even being in 2 locations, in my opinion, spreads you too thin, and you kind of become a little bit of a traveling circus going wherever the audience is. As a consultant, someone who's amazing at what you do, you want to have people come to you. You want to be seen as the expert. And if you can build that niche and get people to come to you, this allows you to make more money in 2 big ways. One, you get the consulting rates. You get to charge a little bit more because honestly, you're amazing. Second, you make more money by having more time. Think of it this way. Even if you charge $200 an hour, and at that $200 an hour, you only do 3 client hours each day because you're traveling all over the place with an hour of travel in between. That's a $600 day. Amazing. But what if you could have it all in one place where you could do those 3 people back to back to back? And so this gives you a real opportunity to get your time back. And so Daryl was struggling with this. But once he figured out all those systems of like, how do we get people to see me? How do I get my messaging? How do I build a community to draw people in, which he's done an amazing job with his live trainings in his community. Now he's growing and he's getting consistent 3 client weeks with resurrections, new referrals, and frankly, using new revenue generating streams using his online community, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. And I think in addition to that, one of the things that Daryl's really great at and was good at to begin with was seeing the big picture. Like he really gets the big picture. Some of the stuff that we worked on was how do you work on some of the minutia of the stuff that falls in that big picture. So even just referrals, like what is your system for a referral? A lot of people are just going to ask a client, maybe haphazardly, hey, do you know anyone that might be able to work with me? Which is fine. But there are better ways to ask for referrals than that, right? So like one of the strategies that Daryl and I discussed was, how are you approaching your clients when you ask for referrals? And I said, well, here's how I would do it. I would ask the client for permission to ask them if I could have a conversation with them, not related to training, after the session, just about some personal stuff that I would like some help with for my business. And the clients, of course, they love you. They're working with you. They're spending their money on you. They're getting benefits and results. They're happy to talk to you about whatever you want for a few minutes after their session. Then I asked Daryl if he had some sort of script. And Daryl's like, well, not really. I just kind of asked. I said, okay, great. So listen, here's the script that we're going to work on. And I said to Daryl, essentially, I said, this is how I might ask for clients. I said, listen, so-and-so, I really enjoy working with you. You are these qualities, right? It might be you're really thorough, or you're always on time and punctual. You really are dedicated to your health and wellness during the sessions. You really put in hard effort, whatever that is. And then you make that request. Do you happen to know anybody else in your world that might be like you, who might benefit from my services? Very open-ended, very light, not a lot of pressure on the client. And you let them think about it. And you say, listen, if you have someone, great, that's awesome. If not, that's totally okay too. It won't change our professional relationship at all. But if you happen to come across somebody, please feel free to connect us. I would love to talk with somebody, even if it's just a conversation. And from that alone, I think in the first week or two, that's when he started generating new leads, just by changing the way he was having those referral conversations and asking his clients for some help in that regard. And it helped him blow up his business.
Amazing. I mean, honestly, in most cases, I would say that most people, you just need, and I hate using the word system because it's starting to sound soundbitey, but you just need to have some step-by-step processes that you execute consistently to identify how things are working in your system. And asking for referrals is a really powerful way. But of course, you might think, well, wait a second, I don't want to squeeze all the juice out of my clients. How can I make sure that I don't irritate my clients by asking for referrals? And so another thing that Daryl's done really, really well, before we move on to Michael, which I'm really excited to talk about, and Sam, we're going to talk more, is that he started to ask not only for referrals for clients to come in, but started asking for connections, inviting people into a community, inviting them to check out his Facebook and for Facebook reviews and Google reviews. And each one of these small steps are not as invasive as the one prior, right? You're asking for someone to send someone to your world. That's a lot. But if you say, hey, do you mind, as far as a referral goes, do you mind leave me a little Google review? And that way people can see what you think of me. And those small little things each month, those active in-house habits, turn into really cool, reproducible systems that every 6 months you can recycle and come back to help you grow more business, which is super cool. So Glenn, what do you say we talk about Michael?
Sure. Let's talk about Michael. I like it. I love you, Daryl.
Oh, I have to unlock this here. Boom. And Michael. So Michael, I'm really excited about. Michael is another UKer, which is super cool. And he actually worked with our mentor, Taylor. Now, when I first spoke to Michael, I mean, honestly, one of the things that I found with him that a lot of people struggle with is he was investing so much time into the science. So much time into learning more and more and more and more education, which is really great. And you do need to learn a lot. But for Michael to get to the point where he's now getting an additional $1,000 each month in revenue, and is now looking to scale and hire new people, and is now looking at new revenue streams, Michael really needed to take the time to step a little bit back away from the science and focus on his internal business processes. Because one of the things that we found, which we think that a lot of people like you end up struggling with, a lot of our students do, is he was giving away way too much information up front without being compensated for that time. Now, I don't want you to charge for every single thing, but Michael's an expert with nutrition. He's really, really good at precision nutrition, giving some new way of thinking of food so that way his clients can get into conditioning. Because as you guys saw, Michael's pretty jacked. But what ended up happening is he was so openly trying to share more value with his clients that he was giving away a bunch of stuff. So he ended up having two things happen. He was giving away way too much stuff. And on top of giving away a bunch of stuff, he also was charging his rates really, really low. So he had this problem where he was actually pretty busy, but he wasn't making the kind of money he needed to, so that way he had the revenue to invest back into his facility and then look at scaling, which I think is a real problem that a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah, to that piece on the value and giving away the candy, there are times and places to give away a lot of information, and there are times and places to maybe hold back a little bit until the client has agreed to invest in your services more. So to give you maybe some better examples, Facebook groups that we encourage our students to run is an integral part of our program, and also your Instagram or Facebook or other social media. Great times to give away general information, which we will refer to as candy, right? Candy. So Facebook groups, for example, we run a live every Friday. We encourage all of our students to run a Facebook Live every Friday. It's a general masterclass that educates your clients or the people that are in your world or your prospects, making you more of an authority figure, making you somebody that they will want to see in the future when the time is right, when they're ready to pull the trigger and get some help with their body or their health, their nutrition, whatever their goals are. But here's the flip side of that. When you're meeting people and they want specific information about them, how can they improve their lives? How can they improve, and what information do they need specifically for them? This is the point in time where people are asking you to be a free consultant, to essentially give away your candy for free. And that is where I think, I would say at least, that we draw the line, right? You want to be able to have a strong identity, strong morals, strong ethics, and know what you're worth, and feel comfortable having a conversation in a very amicable light, which essentially guides somebody towards paying for your assessment or paying for your services rather than just trying to get as much free information upfront as they can. Because what do people do with information? What do they do in a sales meeting or a consultation or a conversation? They want to learn about what's going to help them right now, and they don't necessarily want to pay for it. And the thing is that there's so many great trainers, exercise professionals who know a lot that want to share that information. They essentially let their candy spill out all over the place, and they devalue themselves in a sense because they're giving it away for free, right? Another way to think about this, you go to the movies. I love the movies. I'm super excited for the theaters to open up Friday in Canada. I love going to the theaters. But when you go to the theaters and you go up to the concession stand, you don't get free popcorn and candy and cola and whatever you want to have when you go there. You got to pay for that stuff, right? That's for you, right? You need to pay, and your clients need to pay if they want that information that's tailored for them. That's what makes you a professional. That's what makes you a consultant. So one of the things that I think, if I'm not mistaken, you've been working on with Mike is essentially helping him bracket out and parse out when is a great time to give you this general information, wow your prospects, let them know that you are the guy for this particular niche, and when to hold back and to try to move them towards some sort of paid consultant role with you.
So, I mean, our friend Greg Mack always says candy costs a question. Mm-hmm. And so many people will be like, well, how much do you cost? What about this? What about that? We've tried to change this a little bit from the marketing side of things. And I would say that value turns into an interaction. And so right now, when we always say make it rain, I've been saying that since I was a kid, because in my opinion, in reality, when you're doing something like this and you want to do something that no one else is doing, you really have to try and like stand in a field and be a rainmaker and do a ridiculous rain dance, but do something that's so different than everyone else that you bring the rain to you. And in this case, you bring the clients. Now, in most cases, in most client scenarios, like with Michael and many of our students, they're waiting for people to come to them and be referred to them or find them with their website. But if you can build amazing, high quality value, something that we call a value piece, which there's lots of information on this group about, and someone says, well, I'm trying to work on marketing, and you go, great. I have an ebook that I just wrote called The 6-Figure Blueprint. By the way, I actually have that. So if you want to learn how to get to 6 figures real fast, reach out to us and comment below 6-Figure Blueprint. But I've got this 6-Figure Blueprint. I'll send it to you if you'd like. I'd love for you to check it out. So you send some value, some candy. But instead of candy costing a question in this case, I'm going to give them that, and then I'm going to let them read over it and then reach out to them and say, hey, did you have a chance to review that book? I'd love to hear what you think. What kind of things resonated with you and what things are kind of struggles. And so I love this because it turns into this amazing interaction that allows you to nurture and talk to people. I've got one student that's working on an amazing platform, really unique approach with martial arts and biomechanics that I'm really excited for him to become seen and for his product to pop out there a little bit more. But in reality, that's the big thing we're focusing on is instead of just waiting for people to come to you and go, I need your thing, there's way too much of that right now. Everyone is expecting to be sold on something. What if instead of selling someone on something, we can give them a ton of value and have our entire product suite and our entire marketing campaign be around value and education? And so Daryl and Michael have done so well with that. And as you saw with the little art that I just put up of Michael here, I mean, he's increased his revenue by $1,000 per month, and he's looking at scaling and growing. And I just had a call with him a couple of days ago. Taylor's doing some amazing things with him, and he's a big part of our study groups, which I absolutely love. He's doing some cool stuff with dynamometers, but business-wise, he's actually looking at adding a new final destination and a new retention system so we can increase some passive revenue streams so you can look at scaling and getting a larger studio. Very exciting.
I love it. I love it, Brandon.
So we are going to talk about now someone that's a friend of Glenn's, a friend of mine, who's also in the mentorship that I'm really excited about. And honestly, I'm still blown away to have him be a part of the program because he's someone that's extremely established. But as Seth Godin will talk to you about, you can be as established as you are and you could be a multimillionaire, but having a coach, someone with an unbiased lens, someone on the outside being a mentor and a guider for you is a really powerful tool to help you get to where you want to get faster. So you guys have seen, we've been talking about it, Mr. Sam Trotta. And man, I mean, in 3 months, he's really, really crushed it. Now, I'll say this right now. Sam's increased his annual revenue in the 3 months of our program by $20,000, over $20,000, which is absolutely amazing. And this is only the beginning for him because in Ontario, he's been locked down while he's been doing this. He hasn't been able to implement all these systems into his gym. This has just been taking what he currently can do and optimizing it in 3 months. Now, if you're not familiar with Sam, the reason why I'm excited about Sam is he actually has 3 different businesses that he's juggling all kind of concurrently. He has a platform that is exclusively him called Ballast. He has a gym that he's a co-owner on called Striation 6. And on top of Striation 6 and Ballast, he also is an RTS instructor, which I can absolutely relate to because I was doing that myself. And that's tough because when you have all these different things, you have to see that each one of these businesses are completely different from the other. And having strict barriers so there's no confusion from one business to another with specific messaging, specific value pieces, specific content is really, really important. And so Sam has absolutely crushed it. I mean, Glenn, if you don't mind me asking, your experience with Sam.
Yeah, so I actually work at Striation 6. And I am transitioning from Striation 6 up to Strata here. So I work with and alongside Sam, and I work here alongside Brandon as well. And just because I moved my life up here to Newmarket recently, which is a stone's throw away from Strata, I'm moving my business up here full time. So, I mean, I love Striation 6. I love what they're doing. An amazing team of professionals. Sam has taken the Fitness Pro Mentors program in stride. And I think he might be one of the biggest singers of the praise of the program so far. He loves it. And I think one of the big things that he's taken away from a combination of this program and some other professionals that he's working with as well is that you can't let fear dictate in how you run your business. And I think a lot of professionals are doing that. The fear of losing a client means they never raise their rates. The fear of how they're going to look on social media stops them from taking action and investing in those skill sets. The fear runs through all of us. We all have it. And Sam just is in a place where he's just not letting it dictate the actions that he takes anymore. And because of that, he took a real leap and created Ballast over the past year. And through the work that he's done with the Fitness Pro Mentors program, through Taylor and through Brandon, and having me whisper sweet nothings in his ear, because I'm not his coach, but I'm a good friend of his. I can say that wholeheartedly, openly, and honestly. He's been able to take his business to the next level, so much so that he has signed up for the Leaders Program, if I'm not mistaken, as now bringing everything he learned in Fitness Pro Mentors to the Striation 6 team, which I'm over the moon about. I've been on some recent study groups and staff meetings with him. He is a leader in his own right, and he's grown so much in the past year. And I love you so much, Sam. You're crushing and killing it.
So openly, we're going to have Sam come up to Strata and sit right here using that fancy microphone right there. And we're going to have him actually talk more about his experience. And I'd love to get him to talk about his opinion of hiring a mentor, because Sam is someone that in his own right, first, and we have to talk about what worked for him to get the $20,000, because you can do it too. I mean, even though Sam is absolutely talented and a leader in his own right, you can do all that stuff. And so if you want to learn exactly how we can implement the systems that worked for Sam, please send us a message and comment. Go to the Fitness Pro Mentors Facebook group where you're here now. Comment below. We'd love to tell you about it. But Sam's a leader. He's an RTS instructor, which is a tough responsibility to have. It's a very complicated and tough program. Owner of a facility and then owner of his own single business. Each one of these things takes so much effort to lead people and guide people. But yet, someone like that, you might expect someone to be a business owner and an instructor for a program. You could expect someone to maybe be arrogant or stubborn and not be open to learning new strategies. But Sam is 100% really open to learning more and more and having that guidance and that mentorship. And between myself and Taylor directly supporting him, he's really crushed it. And he's implemented the change. He's not, like Glenn said, letting fear dictate, which like you said, I mean, we talk about this through transactional analysis book and Greg Mack's influence, and then just kind of like our own philosophy. Fear is a massive limiter of people limiter of letting people succeed. And you can blast past that. It's just taking the skills and the systems you learn and just throwing your CEO avatar at it so you can literally make it rain, which is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I think one of the things that has really helped Sam blow up is learning how to curate his social media. We've had other feedback from other people in the mentorship talking about how cool some of the stuff that Sam has created on his social media is, right? The way he interacts with people, the questions that he asks, how consistent that he's been. It's been really, really amazing to see. And he's had clients approach him on Instagram and be like, hey, I love what you're doing right now. I don't even know if I necessarily need to work with you, but I'd love to come check out your gym once things open. Is that okay with you? And it's been great. And it's been amazing. And
Leader.
yeah, I mean, and listen, this is the point in time when, like, I was adverse to this, where if you don't love doing social media and you've got some sort of barrier with that, that's something that we talk about with all of our clients, because there's always something in the way of social media that seems to stop people, whether it's they don't feel comfortable talking in front of camera, or they don't like what social media is represented right now in terms of the way a lot of people interact online. And I'm talking about the diversity between different factions when it comes to different issues that people present online. All this different stuff seems to get in the way of everybody's use of social media. And I think one of the things that I love about the program and learning from Brandon for the past couple of years has been how to actually tailor and use social media without having to pay for ads, right? How to use it actually organically. And I would actually argue, and I'm going to put this out there, I think you'll grow your business more paid ads wise. You'll grow your business more organically if you know how to use it. I think that's one of the beautiful things about Fitness Pro Mentors is we teach people how to use social media organically in a way that they feel empowered and they feel really good about, and they get all these other soft and hard skills to boot, right? Like the ability to talk to a camera right now and articulate your ideas and your point of view and to tell a story to people is an intricate part of our program. And it's what people latch on to. And if there's anything I've learned a lot in the past year, it's that people don't really care about information that much. Believe it or not, they don't really care as much about the information that you're giving. What they're going to relate to more than anything else is that information, and here's a caveat, but told in a story format. I don't really remember any of the information people have told me that I've read on social media, statistics, facts, whatever, but I remember the stories. I remember all the stories, and I think a lot of the people in our program are getting really great at telling stories. It's really resonating with their ideal target audience and their client avatars that they want to work with. And because of that, because these people finally get that there's somebody that connects with them, that understands them, that can make the information relevant because it's in a story format, that's really helping these prospects see our students as the answer to their problems, and it's a much easier conversion from somebody who might have just been floating around prospect land or exercise land doing their own thing to working with the people in our program.
You know, the idea of a story, like forgetting about the mechanics of a story, if you're rich enough and you've got enough money that you can buy a Ferrari and you're driving around in the Ferrari. Ferraris, from an investment perspective, don't make sense, right? You spend $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 in a Ferrari, maybe $100,000 if you get an older one and you're lucky. That doesn't make any sense as an investment unless you have that money to burn. But what does make sense is the story that the Ferrari tells about you. Ferrari is status. Ferrari is wealth. And so if you can have that story of the Ferrari and you driving it, and that benefits your business in a way. I mean, I know an entrepreneur that took a picture of him in front of an airplane, and that picture of him in front of a private airplane turned into him getting a ton more money, which is absolutely awesome for him because it was status and wealth that allowed people to see his status and wealth, that he was succeeding. And so that turned into this really cool thing. And so it's really the story that you can tell through your marketing and your content to let people know that this is who they become after they join your world. And taking pictures of just machines and taking pictures of you working out in your gym, as far as building a fitness gym brand, it doesn't make any sense. It needs to be all around one thing, the clients. And if it's not around the clients, you're in big trouble. Glenn's beautiful smile. So at the end of the day, Sam's really embodied this, and he's doing a great job building a community, asking questions, building value, and really building up a high quality community of people, which I absolutely love.
So, it's funny. I think one of the interesting things about the program is it's extremely detail orientated. There is a ton of detail that goes into this program. I mean, we just talked about earlier, this referral conversation about how it is structured and there is steps to take in that process. Even though it might seem like you're just asking a question, there's 5 or 6 little intricate steps that you take in order, in a sequence, that allow you to have a better outcome than if you just went about it all willy-nilly. And I can say that that same kind of process, even just asking for a referral, applies to almost everything that we do here, from how we run the master classes in the live Facebook groups, how we ask for referrals, how you might structure your study groups, how you might tell your own personal story. I mean, there's 6 or 7 different ways or steps in telling a personal story, or even telling a story in a quick tip format that you might have even seen on our Strata pages. But the interesting thing is that when our students are doing these intricate little dances and going over all these pieces, at first it seems maybe overwhelming or a little bit tedious, because we are asking to check mark all the boxes. But the beautiful thing is you do it often enough, and a core tenet of the program is consistency, doing it over and over again. Eventually it becomes second nature. I can tell a story now going through all those 7 steps without even thinking about it, whether it's in a 1-minute format where I'm trying to educate somebody about the sunk cost fallacy or a different bias, or why a machine might be a great investment of their health versus doing something free weight, or whether it's tell my own personal story. But it's amazing that when you take time to break down the little nitty gritty, you get past that kind of grindy phase that you need to in order to learn something, how it becomes an automatic automatic tool in your arsenal. One of the things I think all of our students have, and I know we're talking about Sam and Daryl right now and Mike, all these guys have taken the time to step back, reevaluate all these little pieces of all these little tools and all these different ways of doing things that we've shared with them. But now they're really getting to a spot where after 12 plus weeks in the program, it's all becoming more automatic for them. And now they just get to go out in the world and think a lot less about what they're going to say and how they're going to say it. And they just are, right? This program now, it's funny, we talk about how marketing is the story of who people will become when they work with you. It's just beautiful to see all of our students becoming this amazing version of themselves and how they present themselves both online and in person with clients. And now for those people in the Leaders Program, how they're starting to bring that to their staff and their team. I get goosebumps. I'm just really excited for them because we get to really help some people. And that's what really makes me happy about all this, is like, how many more people are going to get to grow and improve the health and quality of their lives because we're helping these students help these people.
Yeah, 100%.
Like for me, that paying it forward effect means so much, and I think it means so much to the people in our program as well.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, we treat this program, it's become a little bit of a personal development program, I should say, because as you're going through marketing steps and you're building your personal and professional brand, you have to really challenge yourself. Like, you really have to take yourself outside of your comfort zone so you can help reach those people and help more people. And that's the whole reason why I started this program. It's the whole reason why I started Strata, is that originally I didn't want to open my own place, but I needed the place to help reach more clients. Now, ultimately, my mission is to help as many people in the world move and exercise pain-free. And there's this incredible market of people just like you who are listening and watching this, who are super smart, brilliant trainers. And you have a product that can help people. But the messaging we've learned to this point has not worked, because the number of really smart trainers that I know that don't have any clients and are stuck at 15 hours a week, or have 15 hours, they get up to 20, and then they lose a few people, and they're unsure how people are finding them and how people to stay in their world. And it's just a bummer. I know a bunch of trainers that have taken amazing sales programs who have expert sales level skills, but can't keep people in their world. I know people who are expert trainers, the most RTS-ified trainer you possibly know, but can't have anybody find them and can't have people go through a good sales process. So ultimately, everything we do creates a one-on-one customized process, step-by-step plan for you to build your marketing and lead gen system. So our program, I'm really excited about it because these guys are doing the one-on-one mentorships with Glenn or Taylor. They're doing the group mastermind calls with me and all the other trainers. They are going through the course packs. We've got access to a private study group, which has strata study groups on exercise and case studies that we do. So they have access to that. They have access to a ton of information. And ultimately, as you can see, they're all succeeding. They're all making more money and they're all growing. So we're going to consistently do little case study things just like this. We're going to talk about champions in our course because at the end of the day, you deserve to have the career that you want. The whole reason I'm doing this, as much as this is a part of my business now, is ultimately I want you to have the career that you deserve. I want you to help people that you want, and I want you to be able to make the kind of money that you want. And seeing people like you and seeing people like this handsome fella right here, and he's not, but some people leave the career because they don't have enough clients, makes me sad. And I want to stay far, far away from that and challenge you as much as you can. And honestly, if you want to know the truth, I'm challenging myself right now. If you're watching this video program, you will see that I am working on doing video switching. I'm trying, and not even working, trying to do these video switches right now. So I'm actually practicing new skill development as we're doing this. And ultimately, I'm trying to challenge myself. And we're trying to make sure that we give you a better product and a better experience. So if you want to learn more about our program, please comment below, send us a message, join the Fitness Pro Mentors Facebook group. We got an amazing 6-figure blueprint guide that is a step-by-step plan that we teach exactly in the mentorship program to help you grow your business and scale and level up.
That was perfect, Brandon. And I think the only thing left to talk about is your pick of the week.
So my pick of the week openly is a pick that I've chosen before, but I'm going to bring it back. And it's exactly how I'm doing this video switching right now is I'm going to pick a software that I'm using called Ecamm Live. And so if you're an Apple computer, there's a lot of amazing streaming softwares called like OBS, Ecamm Live, StreamYard, and they all have amazing opportunities to add overlays and do things like you've probably seen me do here, like add the picture of Sam and Michael and Daryl over top. And so this program has so many more features that I'm aware of that I'm actually learning right now how to do video switching so we can increase our production without buying more gear. And so I'm a huge fan of buying technology to make things go faster. But if I can buy $100 image switcher so I can do things like you're watching right now, switching between Glenn and me versus buying a $1,500 new camera, I'm really excited about it. So I would highly recommend if you're an Apple user and you use Zoom and you want to have higher quality video, get better quality recordings at 1080p and really share your stuff, but have lots of flexibility with what you do, I'd highly recommend getting Ecamm Live so you can do exactly this stuff. Glenn, what's your pick of the week?
My pick of the week, usually I'm the one who's got movies or video games or some other product that I'm eating that I'm enjoying, and I love all that stuff, but I'm going to do a more Fitness Pro Mentors-esque pick, and it's something that I've seen consistently across the board with most everybody in our program, with some exceptions, but this is what I'm going to go with, which is the skill of talking to a camera. The skill of talking to a camera is not as easy as I think most people might think it is. In fact, the first few times you do it, you're almost certainly going to fail. Talking to a camera is so important, because when you create content or when you're doing a Zoom call with someone, whether it's going to be something where you're doing a study group or whether you're doing a study group or whether you are on a consultation with somebody, whatever that is, the eyes are the gateway to the soul, so to speak. And the more you can look at the camera and connect with whoever's watching on the other line, the more of a connection you're going to make. And people do business with people they know, like, and trust. People are going to understand the story that you're telling, whether it is going to be a concept you're sharing in a study group or a concept you're sharing with a client, whatever that is, it's going to connect more when you're looking at the camera and you're talking and articulating in this way. It is weird because we're used to wanting to look where? The screen. Look at the screen, look at the person you're talking to, or look at managing all the other stuff in there. But being able to look straight ahead and communicate with the camera is, I think, going to change the way that you communicate with people. And in that, there's carryover. There's carryover as well to other skills. Like, we encourage our participants to do either live webinars or to do in-person seminars with people. In fact, I think in-person seminars are one of the best ways to actually generate and create new business. There's something about seeing somebody in person, having that real connection to you, talking to them, conversing with them face-to-face in person in the flesh, that is unlike any other way of connecting with another human being. I mean, that's why people go on first dates when they're trying to find a romantic partner. because doing stuff over Zoom, messaging, all that kind of stuff, it's really a half-hearted attempt at connecting with someone. But you're in person, you're going on your first date like I did with my, I guess now wifey 5 years ago. You're sitting across the table, you look lovingly into each other's eyes, you're actively listening, you're building this thing together. You can't help but grow and move together. And that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to guarantee that everybody that watches your stuff is going to connect with you, or guarantee that you're going to sell everybody that comes in or convert and be able to help them in the future. But it's an excellent excellent tool. I've done that twice. Excellent tool to help you grow your business. So I encourage everybody right now, something you can do right away to help you grow your business, get used to talking into the camera and less looking at your screen.
So everyone, thank you so much for listening to this episode. And if you want to chat to these students, they're open with chatting with you. I mean, a big part of our program is not only just telling you how great we are, which I absolutely am not a big fan of. We got to do that frequency and get that message out there. But I love showing you students who are succeeding, because ultimately, even small results like increasing their money by $1,000 each month, or huge results like $20,000 per year, like Sam and Michael, all these things are absolutely awesome, because no matter whatever level of success you want, you can achieve it. And I had an interview with a new student yesterday, and he asked, well, how fast can I go? And honestly, our program gives you all the tools that if you want to try and get 10 clients a week, you have the tools to do that. You just got to put the work in. You just want to get one new client a week, you can absolutely do that too. It's really everything you need. So if you want to get one new client, or you want to scale all the way up to hiring a studio with our Fitness Pro Leaders program, that's all there. So openly, welcome to the Minds on Muscle podcast. We love having you here. I hope you don't mind a couple of my video glimpses if you're watching this, but I'm working on making this good. But everyone, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it.
I had a blast today. I love working with these guys. I love Sam. I love Daryl. I love Mike, all that stuff. I look forward to talking about some more of our students in the future. And I mean, I look forward to helping and connecting with other people too. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Let us know. And if this video resonates with you and you're sick and tired of not having the income that you want and not be able to live the life that you want, help all the clients that you want, feel free to message us. In fact, I encourage you to message us, book a 45-minute discovery call, talk to us. We can help guide you in the right direction. We want to see you thrive. That's what Fitness Pro Mentors is all about.
We just finished a brand new ebook called The 6-Figure Blueprint. So whenever you're listening to this, if it's in the future or right now, it is a step-by-step, everything that we do in the mentorship from an introductory level, so you can implement and make the changes to your business right now. So please send us a message, contact us whenever you hear this. We will have that blueprint, and we'd love to help you out. Everyone, thank you so much. Glenn, that was fun. Thank you.
Take care, everybody. Have a great one.